Hello, I'm James Harvey, the professor of music theory at the College of Southern Nevada with 5-Minute Music Theory. We'll start the timer and we're going to talk about another type of secondary function in this video, and it's the secondary leading tone, which does the same thing as a secondary dominant. It's just a leading tone instead of a dominant. So let's do this in C major, and let's tonicize a dominant chord like we did in the dominant video, and we're going to do a leading tone of the dominant. Notice that I inverted that leading tone because remember, we don't want diminished triads in root position. We're going to have to deal with accidentals here again. This is the most tricky thing about secondary functions is mistaken accidentals or missing accidentals. You're almost always going to have an accidental. So what the chords are going to be here is the dominant's a G, and think of in the key of G what the leading tone would be, and that would actually be an F sharp diminished, and it's going to have an A in the bass because it's in first inversion. So let's do this in order this time. A, and then C. We need a C, and we'll try to do our SBOY doubling, and then we're going to resolve that to a root position G major chord, like so. So a secondary leading tone performs that secondary function by leading towards another chord other than tonic. So what's happening is that it's tonicizing that dominant chord. It's temporarily treating that as tonic, and then once it happens, it's all over. And any chord can, or almost any chord can be tonicized. I'm going to show you an example of a chord that cannot be tonicized and why it cannot be tonicized. And it actually makes a lot of sense if you think about it. A 5 of 7. Is that possible? Well, let's think about it, and I'll tell you that no, it is not. And if you think logically about it, you can kind of figure out why this is not possible, because the concept of tonicization is to temporarily treat another chord other than tonic as if it were tonic, and there's no way that a diminished triad can be a tonic chord because there are no diminished keys. Same goes for augmented chords, although it's going to be a lot harder to accidentally do a 5 of something augmented. So we cannot tonicize diminished triads. So if you think about what those are in a major key, I'll put in big M for major, there's only one diminished triad, and then in a minor key, there's 2 of them. There's the supertonic and there's the leading tone. Neither of those can be tonicized. So just to quickly review, a secondary leading tone, or sometimes you'll actually hear it as an applied leading tone. There's a lot of different terms, but these are all dealing with tonicization. They're all tonicizing chords. They are chords that temporarily lead towards another chord other than tonic as if it were tonic, and then once that happens, the board is clear. It goes right back to the original key. And whatever happens, like if we had those couple of chords that I had written there just a second ago, let me rewrite those. I'll just write in the middle of this staff here. If we had a leading tone 6 of 5 followed by a dominant chord, after that dominant chord would be whatever happens in or after a normal dominant chord. So all the standard rules or guidelines apply after that. And that's basically it as far as the main secondary functions go. In the next video, we're going to cover a little bit of a more rare circumstance where we can actually extend those tonicizations. Thank you.